Good afternoon. This is Pastor T again, author of the book, Stop Falling for the Okeydoke, How the Lie of Race Continues to Undermine Our Country. And I start off by mentioning that because as we try to connect the dots so that people can have a greater understanding of the depth of the issues that are swirling around us so that we know what the truth is, as opposed to the okey-doke being defined as nonsense, foolishness, a hoax, a con, a scam. And so much of what is being foisted upon us as a nation right now is a con, it's a scam. And I'm talking about related to ballot security and voter integrity and the alleged voter fraud thing. In chapter 3 of my book, I wrote a little bit about voter fraud, not knowing that it would become, and this book was written in 2017, not realizing how much of a lie was going to be told based on it in 2020. An August 6, 2014 Washington Post article submitted by Justin Levitt said, quote, "A comprehensive investigation of voter impersonation finds 31 credible incidents out of over 1 billion ballots cast," end quote. The numbers didn't lie. It is a solution desperately searching for a problem, punishing and hindering citizens with the legitimate right and privilege to vote and justifying it because there were 31 verifiable instances across the nation of voter impersonation. That's criminal. For the math wonks out there, that's 0.00000031. That's 0.7 zeros and then 31 of a percent out of over 1 billion ballots cast in this country between the year 2000 and 2014. And so passing voter ID laws does not address any of the things that they're trying to claim are happening. And statistics show that none of those things are happening. So what is this really about then? What it's about is people don't want folks who are going to vote or going to try to vote because they know that that portion of the public, a majority of the American people, are not feeling them or their agenda. And so they make up things, they try and scare us and say, well, no, we can't have people vote online because there's no security in that. Yet, what did they send out to us? April 1st was what? Census Day. They sent out forms through the mail, cards through the mail, gave us a dedicated code. Every American who received it had a different confirmation code, a barcode from anybody else, so that you could cast your fill out and submit your census form online. Yet for some reason, it's impossible to think about that for voting. Why is that? I'll tell you why. I'm so glad you asked. Because it's harder to cheat if you allow people to vote through the mail or electronically online. One of the ways that they're cheating, we just saw this in Georgia, which, a couple of years ago, the person who was the Secretary of State, the referee, was also a contestant in the game running for governor and managed to disqualify enough votes and challenge enough votes so that he won, okay? But then we see the negative outcomes. You don't enjoy the will of the people and you put yourself in office and things sometimes, frequently, don't go well. But what happened in Georgia this past week? They had long, long lines in what? Majority African American and poor neighborhoods, which would require you then in the middle of a pandemic to stand in line for 3 hours or more to cast a ballot. No social distancing. You're just in a long line for 3 hours because, of course, the voting machines always have problems and always break down in our precincts. But you go to other precincts and the lines are short and people are breezing right through. That is a form of voter suppression. We make it harder to vote to discourage people from voting so that then they'll go home, so that we then, even though we are a minority of the voting populace, will be able to somehow squeak through and win because we discourage voters. And then we removed voters from the voting rolls who should not have been removed. So I want you all to understand that this is nothing but okey-doke. It's nonsense, it's a con, it's a hustle, it's a scam, and that we need to demand during this pandemic, with the numbers rising again, They were flattening for a minute, and then we got impatient because we wanted to reopen the country, and it's all about the economy. And so now the numbers are going back up again. And that's before when the next increase was supposed to come around September. So it may never flatten. It just might continue to get higher and higher for the rest of this year. Who knows? But the point being, since we're in the middle of a pandemic, we need to cast our votes either electronically, online. There's a secure way that can be done. Everyone have a dedicated number or code or whatever for each voter that each board of elections in each city or county around the country should be able to get that to you. And or if not that, then to be able to cast your ballot through the mail. So then that prevents the long lines, and that then makes it a less, it will no longer be a challenge to your health to go vote. You shouldn't have to risk your life to vote in this country. People already did that. That was called the Civil Rights Movement, where people were being killed because they wanted to dare to vote in this democracy that oftentimes they had gone and represented and fought for this country in World War I, World War II, the Korean War, Vietnam War, and then they come home, oh, no Negro, back in the bus, and no, you don't get to vote. Those days are over. Do not tolerate, do not stand for this okey-doke. Insist that your Board of Elections make casting your ballot through the mail or electronically a priority and even a first option for you, so that you don't have to risk your health to vote in these upcoming elections. And for God's sake, by all means, vote. We've seen from recent results, your votes absolutely do matter. God bless you, and thank you.